Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Welcome back to the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show. This is a place of inspiration, education, and hope for a kinder, healthier, and more sustainable world. This show is a wonderful platform where we get to hear from local and international thought leaders about the things that matter most to you, addressing some of the most controversial issues in order to offer solutions for us to more easily overcome them. Today, this is an extra special day because we're celebrating World Mental Health Day today. In honor of this important day and in acknowledgement that we're in the midst of National Bullying Prevention Month, I'd like to dedicate today's show to PACER's National Bullying Prevention Center, who some of you may know in 2006 were actually the founders of National Bullying Prevention Month that is being celebrated throughout the U.S. To learn more about ways to support their initiatives that promote kindness, acceptance, and inclusion, visit their website at pacer.org, and that's spelled P as in Paul, A as in Apple, C as in Cat, E as in Elephant, R as in Ralph.org. And before going further, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you to join me in thanking our wonderful show sponsor, New Roots Herbal, for making this program possible. In case you don't know, New Roots Herbal also publishes the educational quarterly that's called Flourish Magazine, that offers empowering information by qualified healthcare professionals about cutting-edge health research and solutions. I've been a contributing article writer and recipe writer for the magazine for many years. And in the autumn issue that just came out, you'll find my allergy-friendly and grain-free chia chips recipe. I've got it right here in my hand here. The magazine is beautiful. To learn more about New Roots Herbal and their many products and services, visit newrootsherbal.com. And if you'd like to share your products or services with my wonderful audience of hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners as an advertiser or segment sponsor, contact me directly through my TheresaNicassio.com website. That's Theresa, T-H-E-R-E-S-A, Nicassio with an N, like Nancy, I-C-A, two S's, S-S-I-O as an octopus.com. Be sure to join us next time when we'll be capping off our Empowering Kids series with youth activist and founder of Kids Right to Know, Rachel Parent. She's going to be with us talking about the very controversial topic. We've already had Obi Giroux on talking about one element of it with her movie, Modified. Anyway, the topic of genetic GMO labeling, as well as current legislation that will make your skin crawl, about the legislation and the corporate tactics that are keeping the public, all of us, in the dark about what's really in our food. Anyway, it's going to be a really hot and controversial show. You're not going to want to miss it. And it's soon going to be followed by January's guest, world-renowned MIT scientist Dr. Stephanie Seneff, who's been connecting the dots about the serious health concerns associated with use of pesticides like glyphosate. That's the primary pesticide in Roundup, that are inextricably intertwined with current agricultural practices. The information that both of these courageous and amazing women have to share will forever transform how you think about food. But in line with celebrating World Mental Health Day and National Bullying Awareness Month, today we have with us the visionary founders and directors of Clinically Happy, the Vancouver Psychology Center, and Kindness Control. They're really movers and shakers. They're also the authors of Gratitude and Kindness, The subtitle is A Modern Parent's Guide to Raising Children in an Era of Entitlement. So Dr. Carla Fry and Dr. Lisa Ferrari are both registered psychologists who use positive psychology to teach about gratitude and kindness in order to promote happiness, acceptance, and inclusivity. And in this effort, they're also simultaneously, with intention, reducing bullying, entitlement, and loneliness. Instead of focusing on the problem, they focus on creative solutions that address the underlying source of problems and do so in a fun and life-giving way. Their vision is to use their scientific knowledge and clinical skills to cultivate generations of happiness in order to help families to, I love this, be happy, live happy, and share happy. We are so lucky because both of these amazing women are here together on the line. This is the first time I've done this in this way. I'm so excited and nervous at the same time. But they're both with us on the line right now. Thank you so much for joining us today, Lisa and Carla.
Thank you so much, Theresa, for having us. Now, after that wonderful intro, you're speaking only to Carla at the minute because we had a couple of technical difficulties. However, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to loop Lisa in before the end of this call so you can, in fact, hear from both of us. But I can speak on behalf of both of us for the quick minute. We're very grateful to join you.
Wonderful. Well, and, you know, we listen to you, Carla, and those of you who are familiar with, you've probably seen the hashtag, the Dr. Fs. I just love that. We were both part of Blush magazine at a time, and I was so excited when I saw that. I thought it was very creative. But when you see anything about these two women, and when you go to their page that I've put together on the TheresaNicassio.com website, you'll see that they, you know, when you talk with one, you know, they're both present. It's hard to imagine either of them without the other. You know, maybe I think it would be wonderful to hear a little bit of the background, Carla, and maybe you can start with that. That can let us know about where the Dr. Fs really came from. And, you know, even before that, you know, what would you say was the fire that really ignited your interest in working with kids, Carla?
Oh, let's start with that. You know, both Lisa and I are so engaged at the level of making the largest difference. That's not saying, because we still both consult sometimes with 70-year-olds or 52-year-olds or 48-and-a-half-year-olds, but it lights us up to be able to take a young child. We consult with kids from like 4 years on and be able to give them the tools early on, tools that I don't know how you grew up, Theresa, but I didn't have a lot of tools helping me with my mental health or how to focus on what was right in my world. I just kind of had to figure it out and then figured it out in grad school and beyond. It's so thrilling to be able to sit, whether we have an opportunity to meet with a child one time or 10 times or 20, to sit in a room and open up their mind to the possibility of the things that they can do, how they can think, what the choices they can make in their day to brighten their world and those around them. You know what it is? It's possibility and it's hope, and there's juicy little minds and eager little hearts in front of us every day, and that for sure is like exciting every single day.
I love that. And someone once described me as a possibilitarian, and I've latched on to that. And that notion of cultivating, let's make a word up here, possibilitarianism in the youth. You know, they talk about how, you know, kids don't come with a manual. Well, there are a lot of manuals. I'm not sure how effective most of them are. I think yours is pretty good. But when we're born, we also are not born with a manual. The manual is really, and you're talking about how it was growing up, was we watch the world and we try to figure out what the rules seem to be, even if the rules and the way things are going on around us are dysfunctional. We start to think, well, that's how the world works and that's how to function. So the gifts that you're providing, and it sounds like really excites you, really lights you up, to be able to empower kids with tried and true and effective strategies as opposed to more likely some of the more dysfunctional ones that are promoted in the media and even in peer groups and in families it's really a beautiful vision.
Yeah, you know what, and I know we're going to be talking about the science of positive psychology in a minute, but you know what's really interesting, based on what you just said, helping kids with actual facts, science-based skills, science-based knowledge, is that there's a few things that come up that are sort of like wisdom from those of us who are lucky enough to have grandparents or great-grandparents. There's some wisdom that does get passed down. Say thank you when someone does something kind for you. You know, count your blessings. Pay attention to what's good in your life, whether it's, you know, the prayers at the end of the night or if it's talking. We're heading into Canadian Thanksgiving, and shortly thereafter, obviously, there's going to be American Thanksgiving, the tradition of going around the table and stopping and attuning to what we're grateful for. You know, there's lots of families that do have some of these traditions, and it's really cool because in the last 6 to 8 years, positive psychology science has just like blown up with like, wow, some of these traditions, they really hold power in terms of protecting mental health, in terms of helping people with their relationships and so on and so forth. But yes, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but it is kind of cool. But if you're not coming from a family like that and you turn on network TV and you hear the doom and gloom and you just hear people talking about, oh, this next generation is the worst one ever, like it's not true. We don't have to fill our brains and our minds or our kids' brains with that.
Exactly, and you know, while it may not have seemed, it doesn't seem necessarily to some people obvious why I would be so passionate about this recent movie called Rocket Man about, well, at least it's based on. It's not necessarily all truth, but it's, you know, based on Elton John's life. It takes you into the life, into the world, and the mind of a child. I don't know if have you seen that movie yet?
I haven't, but boy, based on your reviews and inspiration, it's on my list.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's campy, it's a musical, and so on the surface, you know, you'd think, well, it's, you know, and all the glitz and glamour, you'd think that it was not necessarily that deep, but it actually, from a psychological perspective, and when you get to witness how a child is like watching the world and the feedback when it wasn't that positive and life-giving, and full of gratitude and kindness and all of that, how that maps into the individual's thinking and, you know, how and even how they see themselves and what leads to then what appears to be very dysfunctional behavior, but it's actually just that person trying to thrash around to figure out how to survive. So I'm putting in a plug for that because I can't say enough about how it gets under the skin, which bothers some people. So some people, you know, because it really is, it's a powerful message.
Yeah,
but let's jump into the positive psychology because you know, it's like we can look at the problems, but you know, something that really resonates for me and it's how I like to work as well is you know, working from that more positive psychology framework and the science of that, and you know, we're totally on the same page. So, but for those of you listening, you know, some of our listeners here maybe Carla aren't familiar with positive psychology. So, can you give like a little Reader's Digest version, a little bit about what positive psychology is?
Yeah, absolutely, because on the surface of things, you know, you might, if you see something written and you see positive psychology, even if you notice that the capital P in positive and capital P in psychology is there, it would be very easy to just gloss over that and not really know that that's actually a thing. It's a branch of psychological science. Within the last 2 decades, it's become more and more prevalent. Tons of research, a very research-heavy section of psychology, but it's much, much more than just think about something happy or you know,
positive affirmation
for lip. Exactly, right. Absolutely. You know, the last couple of decades, Martin Seligman, if anybody's heard his name, he's sort of the father of this branch of psychology at University of Pennsylvania. And he continues to do tons of research. So does the entire team at the University of California, Berkeley, and Davis. And really what it is putting the pedal to the metal about different kind of techniques, both in terms of actions and in terms of thought changing, and taking control really of one's thoughts rather than just having one's brain just think whatever, being mindful of paying attention to how much attunement to what's going well rather than how much attunement to what is not going well is going on. But anyway, I'm kind of jumping aheid again. Positive psychology,
just in that piece, and to give people a little example, is, can you talk a little bit about the what they've discovered about how much of our thoughts that we actually have in our brain tend to be positive and how much tend to be negative, because that is kind of stunning information.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, left to our mind's own devices, when people haven't learned the techniques, when they haven't even learned to stop and pay attention to what's going on in their brain, the average person, and that's a kid, that's a teenager, that's an adult, has by far and away 80 to 90% of their thoughts registering what they're uncomfortable with, what's going wrong, the barriers between themselves and what they want, pain, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, attuning to, because, a lot of us, we're out there in the world trying to meet our goals, and it's really easy to attune to what's going wrong, whether we're painting the wall in our bedroom and we see a little bubble in the paint, or we're going to the mall specifically to buy that special present for our grandmother and the thing we wanted wasn't available on the shelf. It's really easy for human brains to just pay attention to what's going wrong.
Right.
The flip side is we can teach ourselves to have a more balanced vision about what our day is and what our life is, but that's what we do. That's what Lisa and I do every day, is roll up our sleeves and help people do that.
And, some people think that, that's just putting rose-colored glasses because everything's gloom and doom and I'm, this, that, and the other and the negative. But what they don't realize is actually, like you said, left to our own devices, we tend to put on glasses that are not rose-colored, but they're also not clear. They're all smudged and dingy. And so really with positive psychology, I like that you use that term, it's a balanced view, and we need to actually do a significant amount of counterbalancing in order to have a more balanced view of reality, of ourselves, our place in it, and the world around us.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a perfect way to put it, Theresa. That smudged view, the window looking out at the world, isn't normally, like, if people are mostly attuning to what's going wrong, that's not a clear lens either. Right? That lens is all muddy. And, one more thing that the listeners might want to hear about is that, like for a long time, people in the psychology field, in the psychiatry field, the last good 100 years until recently really have come from a big medical model wherein it's about diagnosis. So the professionals pay attention to what's going wrong. How depressed are you? Or how many features of OCD or anxiety or phobias do you have? And it really is people have been understood from our perspective in the past as kind of a cluster of what's going wrong. And so we still obviously understand that clinical depression and all kinds of anxiety problems and personality problems exist, of course. We still work from that framework, but we hyper-focus on the skills that the person already has, the positives that they've already got in terms of their personality, in terms of their resources, in terms of who helps them, and really focus on what's right in order to help those symptoms be less prevalent in their life. Does that make sense?
Totally. I mean, how can we solve any challenges? How can we be up to the task for anything if we're feeling weak and less than and judged and dehumanized? So, I mean, I love that humanize. It's like reconnecting with our humanity, which, when I think about psychology, I think a lot of times people forget that the source of the word psychology means the study of the soul. This is a study of humanity. Yeah. It's not about the being judgmental and breaking us down into those parts. So the more we can elevate our soul, our resources, and that sense, because we all have gifts. Yes, we all have challenges, but with our gifts and resources, then we can take on the world. Then we can take on those challenges that are put before us.
You got it.
Yeah. So I just real quick, I know we're going to be needing to go to breaks really shortly here, Carla, but I just wanted to acknowledge, I don't know if I told you this when we spoke before, any of the times before, but you and I met several years ago. You were doing a talk about entitlement, the problem of the rising entitlement. You were at the Vancouver Public Library, the main branch, and
yes.
I fell in love with you from that moment, and I know I introduced myself, but of course you were busy with a lot of people there. And I just want to thank you again for what all the work you've been doing in terms of educating, the outreach, educating, empowering people, and then taking something challenging like the entitlement rise and transforming it and giving people the tools, the practical tools to navigate and move forward and feel good about themselves.
Oh, thank you, Theresa. That's so sweet of you to say. I really appreciate it.
Yes, but you know what? We are already at the end of segment 1, and we need to take a short break, and we'll see who we've got on the line in just a couple minutes, folks. So stick around. More with Carla Fry and or Lisa Ferrari when we return. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal is your go-to product for great health. To maintain potency, Acidophilus Ultra is protected by a natural water-based enteric coating. This daily probiotic supports your health in so many ways. It helps boost your immune system, aids digestion and bloating, and that's just for starters. So remember the name, Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal. Get some now. To find a store near you, visit newrootsherbal.com. That's newrootsherbal.com.
Audiobooks gives you instant access to over 50,000 of the best sellers and hottest book titles in romance, mystery, fiction, and many other genres. Just visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Audiobooks to get started.
YumFoodForLiving.com is the place to get easy allergy-free recipes, all free of sugar, gluten, and dairy. But that's not all you'll get when you visit YumFoodForLiving.com. You'll get resources for all kinds of things like wellness articles, videos, podcasts, a blog, all to help you create easy, healthy living. There's even a 50-page downloadable book introducing you to the philosophy of Yum. Don't wait. Visit YumFoodForLiving.com. YumFoodForLiving.com. That's YumFoodForLiving.com.
If you like to spend your television viewing time learning about some of the things that you may have missed in history class, or if history was your favorite subject, then you should check out the link to the History Channel on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page. Order DVD sets by series or by subject matter right from our homepage while you still enjoy your favorite HealthyLife.net show.
Being inspired by a speaker while learning everyday positive information that you can use to help your life is exactly what Dr. Theresa Nicassio does when she speaks in front of your group. From healthcare professionals to special needs parenting and everything in between, Dr. Theresa Nicassio can customize topics for your group on everything from health to psychology. To book Dr. Theresa Nicassio as a speaker for your group, visit YumFoodForLiving.com or call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net, the radio network that brings positive talk with positive change to make your world a little better.
Welcome back. We are celebrating World Mental Health Day today and National Bullying Prevention Month for the show with two of my favorite fellow psychologists, and you heard that right. We do have two people on the line now, Dr. Lisa Ferrari and Dr. Carla Fry. They're here talking with us about how they use the science of positive psychology through gratitude and kindness as a creative bullying prevention strategy. First of all, welcome also to the show, Lisa.
Thank you for having me. It's
fun
to join you both now. I'm glad I'm here.
Yes, now we had a big group hug when we all got on the line together, folks. So we're going to have a massive group hug around the globe right now. Everybody welcoming Lisa and Carla. Yay. Well, let's just jump right into the whole issue about why gratitude and kindness are important for our mental health. And I know you guys wrote a whole book about it, which we'll talk about later too. But why is it that they are important for us and for kids, for all of us?
Well, for all of us, I mean, the key here is that what we know about kindness from the plethora of research that's out there is that people are generally happier when they are engaged in kind acts or when they are sharing their experience of gratitude towards somebody or something. So basically, kindness really does help increase people's happiness. And so if we look at mental health problems with individuals, right, they're not really in a positive state. They're not really feeling much positive emotion. So kindness can really buffer, and gratitude can really buffer a lot of the mental health effects.
And one of the things I like about the whole ideas of kindness and gratitude is it's not just the receiver of the kindness or the gratitude that benefits. Can you talk a little bit about that? How there's it's like a big circle about everybody who benefits.
Right. So we have found, because through some of our initiatives that we'll be talking more about, we have seen firsthand, not only just through the research, but we have seen firsthand the benefit when a child or an adult engages in an act of kindness and the experience of the kind action that the giver experiences in that moment, and then the recipient of that action. And the connection that occurs through that exchange. And then there's the bystander, the individuals that are around that are witnessing the exchange and that interaction. Instantaneously, there's a connection. And a lot of the research does really talk about one of the greatest health benefits is that people that express that are kind, that are engaged in acts of kindness or express gratitude, that they feel more socially connected, and we see it firsthand. In that exchange.
Yeah. So when you see it firsthand, and you see their body language, you see the joy, the whole energy changes. Can you speak a little bit about some of the, I'm pretty sure you have some of the sense of some of even the physical changes that happen, physiological changes that happen when people either express kindness or are generous in their gratitude, and or receive and or witness these things.
Well, I mean the immune system is improved right off the bat. Blood pressure is reduced. Those are some pretty, when we're saying this isn't kind of sort of just a little bit. These are clinically significant differences in people who are practice kindness and who are quite, their worldview is quite grateful. I mean, things like people tend to sleep better and experience less pains, are talking about focusing on and reporting less kind of aches and pains. So I'm sure that you can think of some other things too, Lisa, but right off the top of my head, those are still pretty good physical outcomes right off the bat.
And we've read a lot about even just more energy. People feel more energized. They're more motivated, right? So energy levels tend to increase as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, what you're talking about is basically your whole hormonal, your whole endocrine system gets changed and improved. The neurological system gets improved. You're talking about the cardiovascular signs and symptoms that, again, when they do this research, they can measure these things. I want all of you listening to get this. This is like a drug, only it's better because it doesn't call for a drug. It's free. It's easy. We all have access to it, and we can, we don't even have to wait for someone else to do it because we can choose to be kind. We don't have to, hope that we're going to get that medicine. We can give it ourselves. And so I like to think of it as you can put it in the alternative health category is really kindness and gratitude are healing modalities.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it, and we like you were talking about, Theresa, before. Lisa and I both love to do speaking. We do a lot of writing. We try to get out there on social media fronts, and one of our hashtags that we use a lot is hashtag kindness doesn't cost a thing.
Right, I love that.
Like from a medical or from like a mental health prevention or from an increasing connection, legitimately the smiling at a random individual that you don't know on the street, it has positive benefit to that person. It makes them feel, on average, a little more optimistic, a little bit more believing in the goodness of the fellow human. They're more likely to pass forward some kind of positivity in the rest of their day. That doesn't cost us anything. I mean, it's fun when people like Oprah can give out new cars or the great big gifts where there's philanthropists paying off the student loans of college students. Those are amazing things, but it literally doesn't have to cost a nickel.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what people don't realize that it's those little things that help us and help everybody feel like they matter, that they exist, that they're not invisible. And I've done a lot of work around trauma my career, and also around a lot of people who are really struggling with self-esteem and depression and suicidality. And I believe that kindness and gratitude are actually suicide prevention strategies that we can all participate in to help our fellow humans be better able to face each day and move on.
Yep, absolutely.
So I love how you talked about it's even just little things. It doesn't have to be big things. And so you guys developed a whole new initiative. That's a story here. So how did this kindness patrol first come about?
Do you want to start, Lisa?
Sure. I mean, we could see what was happening in our practice in terms of people's struggles with their mental health. We have a family, a child and family psychology clinic, and it's really apparent that a lot of the strategies that Dr. Fry and I used over the years were based in positive psychology, and we would individually use positive psychology and acts of kindness and gratitude journaling in the practice. And we put our heads together one day and said, why don't we try to have even more impact than just individually in our office using these strategies with kids? Why don't we try to take it out to the community and hit more kids, more families, and have more of an impact?
Mm-hmm. And we're going to hear more about, we're going to have to go to a break in a moment, but we're going to be hearing more about how this all evolved, because it's been nothing less than magical, and it's becoming quite a big sensation even globally now about this kindness control. So folks, we're going to hear more about kindness control and more great wisdom and pearls from the Dr. F's when we come back. Don't go away.
There's a book that makes it so easy to embrace a healthy, gluten-free lifestyle, even kids will like it. Filled with heartwarming stories, food as medicine health tips, easy allergy-free recipes, and creative culinary inventions, the award-winning book Yum by Dr. Theresa Nicassio is your source for all of this and more. So make gluten-free living easy, tasty, and fun. Get Yum, plant-based recipes for a gluten-free diet at Amazon.com or visit yumfoodforliving.com. That's yumfoodforliving.com.
You have too little time to shop, so try Farm Fresh to You. They deliver organic food the way nature intended, delivered straight to your home or office, economically. Visit our web advertiser page and click on Farm Fresh to You now.
When you have a food allergy or dietary limitation, Dr. Theresa Nicassio knows it's hard to give up the foods you love, so she decided to put on her chef hat and give you affordable, personalized culinary consultations that will light up your taste buds. You'll explore substitute ingredients so you can enjoy your favorite foods again. She'll even help you make food preparation easy and guide you on your path to healthy living. And to get started, all you have to do is call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
If you're not in the U.S., listen up. SureTrader is one of the most trusted and reliable names in share trading. With 6-to-1 leverage and other perks, SureTrade is the best for penny stocks and day trades. To find out more, visit our advertiser page and click on the SureTrader banner.
YumFoodForLiving.com is the place to get easy allergy-free recipes, all free of sugar, gluten, and dairy. But that's not all you'll get when you visit YumFoodForLiving.com. You'll get resources for all kinds of things like wellness articles, videos, podcasts, a blog, all to help you create easy, healthy living. There's even a 50-page downloadable book introducing you to the philosophy of yum. Don't wait. Visit YumFoodForLiving.com. YumFoodForLiving.com. That's YumFoodForLiving.com.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show, and we're here today celebrating World Mental Health Day and National Bullying Prevention Month. This is such a great time. And we're with Dr. Carla Fry and Dr. Lisa Ferrari. They're also called #the Dr. Fs. Maybe you may have seen that elsewhere. And they're here talking about, and we started talking about Kindness Patrol right before the break. It's a movement, and they're going to talk a little bit more about that and how it's transforming how kids and adults actually think about and treat each other. So why don't we just carry on about tell our listeners a little bit more about what Kindness Patrol is and maybe even how they can participate in their communities or through their schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? At its base, Kindness Patrol is about kids delivering kind acts with no strings attached and simply for kindness' sake. So we started with a few kids after we wrote our book, Kindness and Gratitude, because we know the research and we wanted to put the pedal to the metal to help some kids experience it. So the first year, we just grabbed a handful of kids. We had them put some bling and nice, happy messages on little pieces of cardboard. We went downtown and we had them pass out these thank you notes to people when we saw them smile at one another or when they opened doors for one another or any time we could catch anybody being kind. It was hilarious, good fun. The reaction from the public and people who were watching the kids, they were like very curious, what on earth is going on? And the kids were just bubbling over silly afterwards. They were just so excited. They weren't asking for money. They weren't asking for donations. And let me tell you, there was plenty of, in every patrol, this is going to be our 6th Kindness Patrol coming up on World Kindness Day in November. There's always a lot of folks that our kids run up to share their kindness that say, oh, I don't have any money on me, or oh, I've already given at the office. And when the kids say, oh, no, we're just wishing you a kind day and wave and walk off, then the smiles come forward like there's no tomorrow. Anyway, it has evolved over the years into us having the kids give to the SPCA and baking cookies for first responders and doing concerts at old folks' homes. It's just so fun. You want to say more about that, Lisa?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's a lot of fun. We've got kids that want to come out every year. They've expressed that it's changed them. It's made them excited about giving. It's made them excited to see how an act of kindness can turn a bad day into a good day for somebody. Mm-hmm. Kindness Patrol, and is really, really, at the core of it is to be able to give people the experience of what it's like. It's not necessarily about teaching, but it's about providing the experience of what it's like to give and to feel connected, and for there to be an exchange between two people, and the impact that all the observers get all the good feelings and happiness that comes from that one interaction. And we've heard, and kids, really, really young kids, are hearing that they're impacting the lives of an adult that would say to them, I almost didn't come on this walk today. I'm so glad I did. I got some really bad news this morning. And giving me this note with this flower and seeing all these flowers along the seawall, people walking around, really changed my mood, right? Mm-hmm. And to have somebody speak that to an 8-year-old child, that they had impact on an adult's life, is pretty powerful.
Yeah, that gives me goosebumps as you're talking, Lisa.
Yeah, it's powerful.
And I was thinking about the power of also for their, reducing social anxiety and increasing that sense of connection and empowerment, knowing that they matter.
Knowing that they matter, they mustered up the courage for those kids that tend to be more shy or a little bit more socially anxious. That they've taken whatever it is, whatever we're doing that year, whether it's flowers or notes, cookies, whatever it is, they can go out on their own and they can do it. They can go in with groups of kids, but these kids find the courage to do it. They want to be a part of it. They want to show kindness.
Yes, and something that I think is particularly exciting, and some of you listening may be wondering, well, what's the connection of these random acts of kindness and teaching kids how to connect with others in a caring, kind way, and with preventing bullying, because I think that's a really, really important link. And if you guys can spell that out a little bit for our listeners, that would be amazing.
Yeah, well, there's a few things going on with that. What we know about bullying is that a child or an adult, because that adults can do the same kind of behavior if they haven't figured it out by adulthood, is that people who tend to victimize other people often have a lot of unhappiness in their life, often have received a lot of negative feedback, don't feel terrifically important, and so on. If a person who has that kind of a background, who has done some bullying or hasn't really started bullying yet but has the potential to give that kind of an attitude and behavior to others, if they can receive some recognition, whether it's the eye contact, whether it's just like, I'll share my cookie with you, whether it's just like, no, you go ahead of me in line, when they receive some kindness, it tends to be a boost in their overall happiness. And the feel that they might indeed have some worth. So from the perspective of the helping of the potential bully or the individual who's got a bullying tendency within them receiving kindness before or during that kind of patch of their life, it's protective, Theresa.
Exactly, protective and preventative, because when you see the unkindnesses, it's easy to focus on the person who is being unkind and to judge them as an unkind person, as opposed to realizing that they're wounded and they don't feel all these things that you're helping to cultivate. They don't feel like they matter. They don't feel goodness. They don't feel like the world is good to them in some ways. And so they, when you feel like a victim, victim, you're more likely to then harm and do things you otherwise would never imagine doing. So when you feel gratitude and you are in a world and you experience and even learn to give more kindness, and that starts to flavor the world, then it makes all the sense in the world that then there isn't that need to cross that threshold into unkind acts and excluding others and for unkind reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And, people who tend to bully, they sort of have their empathy switch turned off. So, of course, there's no such thing as an empathy switch, but that's how we think about it sometimes, right? It's like they're not really thinking about the emotion of the other. And when we get out there and help kids to live kindness, which that's kind of how we think about it as opposed to just delivering kindness, although sometimes we talk about it like that, to actually live it, it helps them to have more of a connection to the other, and it helps them redevelop or develop in the first place that experience of the other. When they see that they do something that brings a smile to and surprise and delight to the other, it's like, wow, okay, maybe other people's emotions could possibly matter to me. Cool.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
So
Kindness
Patrol. So Kindness Patrol gives kids who have that tendency to bully, or they're in the group, right? Like there is a few kids here and there that tend to, act out in that way, whether we're doing it with a school group or an outside of school group, and Kindness Patrol gives those kids some exposure, whether they're the giver or they are the observer of the kind act. We're giving kids that have that tendency an experience, once again, of seeing that connection and having more positive impact and seeing that they can have an impact on people's happiness.
Yes, it's a win-win-win. I love that. Mm-hmm. And we do have to go to another break. Just real quick, I know all of the links for your websites are on their page, guys, at the TheresaNicassio.com website. But really quickly, is it kindnesspatrol.org or .com? I forget.
.org, you got it.
.org, yeah. So kindnesspatrol.org. We're going to have a little break for a couple minutes. You can even take a look at that site if you wanted during the break. So stick around, folks. We're going to be hearing more about teaching kids kindness after the break. We'll be right back.
Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal is your go-to product for great health. To maintain potency, Acidophilus Ultra is protected by a natural water-based enteric coating. This daily probiotic supports your health in so many ways. It helps boost your immune system, aids digestion and bloating, and that's just for starters. So remember the name, Acidophilus Ultra from New Roots Herbal. Get some now. To find a store near you, visit newrootsherbal.com. That's newrootsherbal.com.
VMware is a fresh perspective for virtualization on the cloud. Shaping the future, this all-in-one platform delivers virtual cloud service on any cloud. Visit our HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on VMware.
When you have a food allergy or dietary limitation, Dr. Theresa Nicassio knows it's hard to give up the foods you love, so she decided to put on her chef hat and give you affordable, personalized culinary consultations that will light up your taste buds. You'll explore substitute ingredients so you can enjoy your favorite foods again. She'll even help you make food preparation easy and guide you on your path to healthy living. And to get started, all you have to do is call 604-445-6463. That's 604-445-6463.
For the best in business class travel, count on Cheapo Air. Cheapo Air has the best price guarantee, 24/7 customer service, and easy booking online or by phone. To experience your hassle-free journey, start by going to HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Cheapo Air.
There's a book that makes it so easy to embrace a healthy, gluten-free lifestyle, even kids will like it. Filled with heartwarming stories, food as medicine health tips, easy allergy-free recipes, and creative culinary inventions, the award-winning book Yum by Dr. Theresa Nicassio is your source for all of this and more. So make gluten-free living easy, tasty, and fun. Get Yum, plant-based recipes for a gluten-free diet at Amazon.com or visit yumfoodforliving.com. That's yumfoodforliving.com.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
what somebody gave up.
Well, welcome back to the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show, celebrating World Mental Health Day. Today, we are also honoring National Bullying Prevention Month with Dr. Carla and Dr. Lisa Ferrari, the Dr. Fs, who are talking about positive strategies for reducing bullying and loneliness by focusing on happiness, gratitude, and kindness. And just before the break, we were talking about the Kindness Patrol. Are there any last words or anything else you want to mention about Kindness Patrol? Because I know we want to get into gratitude. You have a lot of great things about gratitude as well.
Yeah, real quickly, in the last couple of years, Kindness Patrol has gone global, international, and a lot of schools have picked it up to do a kind act, to get an initiative going in their home school. So on kindnesspatrol.org, we've got a free Kindness Patrol kit with ideas, with all kinds of actions, ways to help organizations get involved on World Mental Health Day, which is November the 13th. Now, of course, nobody has to.
World Kindness Day.
World Kindness Day, sorry. So no one has to do a great big thing. Anybody can do an individual act by themselves, but they can still get ideas there. You don't have to do it on the 13th. Hopefully everybody does a little something every day. But we want it to be something that's really accessible, really easy, and for everybody to have the option to pay attention to and to try out. So that's the main thing.
That's so great. It reminds me a little bit also of Kevin Turf, and who one day I might have him on the show. I spoke with him. He did some great things around that 9/11 initiative, where they do the random acts of kindness as well. It's a whole other wonderful story. So that's great. And so, you guys have, I know, these I've seen these great T-shirts and mugs. I don't even know if you sell them or even have those available, but if people wanted to connect with you about, how to get those, again, they would contact kindnesspatrol.org. And if they just want, any guidance about ideas, you guys all have all that there. So again, World Kindness Day, you said, was November 13th, right?
You bet.
Yeah, World Kindness Day. Excellent. So let's just give, because you wrote a book about kindness and gratitude, and we've been interweaving a bit of gratitude here. But I know that there's you have a lot to say also about gratitude, and you mentioned the gratitude journal and that as well. So can you just give us a few hot points about why gratitude, what are the health benefits of gratitude, and how does seeing through a grateful lens, help people, help families, help communities, whatever you want to say about gratitude.
Right. So gratitude is super important, just because so many of us just think, okay, well, we have to be really thankful, right? When we think of gratitude, we think of it about receiving something and saying thank you for it. But how do we really mean it? Like, gratitude isn't necessarily just a word, but we consider it more like an action, right? Mm-hmm. So gratitude is about the act of giving, the act of speaking appreciation. It's actually a way of being. And so it's one of those things, especially for kids, it's so important for parents to model it, model the action of gratitude. We have found, and the research supports it, that often, when people are sharing what they're grateful for, they become more socially aware of the external person, the person outside of you who has shown you appreciation by a simple thank you without saying thank you, which is something that we love to do with families and kids, is as a means of giving people an experience of really tapping into what it is that they're appreciating. So how do I say thank you for something that somebody has done for me, or something that I have appreciated about somebody in words other than those two words? So we love doing that with families because it really gets people into the experience of it. And it also helps people understand sort of what it is that somebody has maybe given up to be able to show you appreciation or do something kind for you. Right? Yeah. So you're thinking outside of yourself. And it affirms, gratitude is really great too, because it also just affirms, like, there are good things in your life and there are people that love you and care about you.
Yeah, I found that, as I mentioned, I think a little earlier, that it's, maybe I didn't mention, but that I've actually discovered that it's impossible to be both feeling ingratitude, experiencing gratitude, and feeling like a victim at the same time. And so it's a wonderful prevention for victimhood. And again, victimhood is very toxic because that's what is oftentimes the impetus for unkindnesses. So it's a way to prevent harm and so forth. So I'm really happy that you're focusing on gratitude. Yeah.
We also see gratitude as a protective factor against negative emotions as well, right? And that's why journal writing is so amazing as well, because you're really, really focusing on appreciating daily gifts, weekly gifts that don't really require an emphasis or a focus on negative emotion.
Yes,
absolutely. And for people who don't want to sit there and journal, little kids can draw pictures about what they're grateful for. For people who just aren't even into that, just even speaking it. We know that thinking about what we're grateful for is a positive mood booster. Speaking it is even more powerful in terms of our mental health, and writing it is the most powerful, but you don't have to. You don't have to take paper to pen.
Mm-hmm. The speaking is really, it's amazing how often, even in our clinical practice, that we see, just our clients that appreciate so much and they think it, but when they're in the room with their child, they don't necessarily think to speak it. Or when they're in the room with their partner, they're not actually speaking it. We know it's in there. And the missing link is always verbalize it. Just verbalize it. And the light, goes on. The bulb goes on for them, and they're like, that makes so much sense. I just need to take it one step further. I actually need to express it. Yeah, and that is one of the benefits within families with gratitude, right? One of the things that gratitude does within families is it increases people's expression of how they're feeling and how they're appreciating one another just by verbalizing and communicating more around the good, right? And then once you're verbalizing around the good and you're really emphasizing the things that family members are doing right and that you're appreciating, everybody feels more connected, and those relationships are stronger.
Yes, wonderful. Well, hey, guys, we have to be finishing here already. I just want to say real fast again that you've written a great book, Kindness and Gratitude. I've got a link on the website, and these wonderful guests are offering to all of you listeners who want it. They have a special gift, which I will try to get that written today, ASAP, on their page, and it'll have like little guidance. It's an Instagram to win a free book, which is amazing. But we really have to be finishing. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
It was wonderful having you. And I want to thank all of you out there for tuning in today and giving special thanks to our show sponsor, New Roots Herbal, for making this program possible. Be sure to join us next time when Kids Right to Know founder and youth activist Rachel Parent is going to be talking with us about that controversial topic of GMO labeling. And to learn more about the doctoress and all of our incredible guests and access loads of free wellness resources, be sure to visit the Theresa's Wellness Hub at TheresaNicassio.com. That's TheresaNicassio.com. I'm Theresa, and this has been the Dr. Theresa Nicassio Show. Until next time, wishing for you a happy World Mental Health Day.